When I was in high school and about to go to college, me and my friends would talk about how it's going to change everything since we didn't have the most social life in high school. We never went to any parties or did anything really crazy, but we did know a lot of people. But I feel like we were basically like side characters, kind of watching everyone else have fun and do cool stuff while we were in like our own little group, just doing our own thing and having fun ourselves. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't that bad. It's just we all kind of expected and wanted to have more than we did. The best way I can explain it is like a Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Me and my friends were basically like Greg and Rowley. Not as awkward or weird, but we would do our own things and knew a lot of people, but we never really hung out with them outside of school or sports teams. So we started talking about how this would be a chance for people to get to know us again and sort of have more friends and get a better reputation, or maybe even go to some parties and have fun. We were all really excited for this, and I was too. The first time we came home for winter break, we all talked, and my friends had a lot of cool stories about their new friends and how great it was going for them. They told me some cool stories about parties and friends and girls they've talked to. When they asked about me, I told them that I had a lot of fun and I had a lot of good friends. It was just a great experience for me. But even though I did go to some parties and have a lot of friends that I hung out with and did a lot of cool stuff, it didn't feel like it changed that much from high school for me. Other than getting new friends and having a lot of fun with activities and talking to people, I realized that what I really wanted was a fantasy and the reality wasn't anything special. After doing everything I wanted in college that I didn't get to in high school, I realized that all of that is just overrated and it didn't really make me too much happier. I had only been in college for about 3 months, so it wasn't really enough time to give a fair judgment. But at the end of my first year of college, since I stopped trying so hard to do everything that I once wasn't able to in high school, I started feeling much happier. And with a small, close group of friends, just hanging out felt like the old days in high school. It wasn't actually so bad. And it actually was a little more fun to me than partying and doing crazy stuff. The best way to describe my experience in high school was imagine hearing about everything and everyone around you, like places they're going, people they're hanging out with, their prom parties and stuff, and cool plans, but you're like an observer and a spectator. Of course, I knew most of these people and I've been friends with a lot of them for years, but I feel like I personally kind of drifted away from my friends and started getting more introverted. As if you've watched many of my other videos, you would know exactly what happened with that. But I kind of liked the small friend groups better because it felt more personal and really like my friends in college and high school. But when I really enjoy doing something and I do something that I'm really good at and I take a class for it, I do really, really well. So in high school, I wasn't doing really bad, but I was a B minus, B plus student. If I got lucky, I would get an A. But luckily, in college, since most of my classes were things that I really liked and enjoyed because it was a part of my major, I did really well with them. And right now, I think I have a 3.9 GPA in and in high school, I only had a 3.4. So my college GPA 3.9 versus high school a 3.4. That's a significant increase, in my opinion. And I never really agreed with the statement that if you don't do well in school, you're not going to amount to anything, because it's just preparing you for the basics of what you could need for any specific job. Like if you're a writer, you're not going to need math or science. You're only really going to need English unless you're writing about math and science or something like that. But depending on what your job is, you might not need those classes. So it's just giving you the basics. But the one major thing I learned about my college experience is that even though you want to change or reinvent yourself, since people don't know you yet, as much as you try to change yourself, you never really can, and you're always going to be yourself and show who you really are. I said that I was going to change a lot of things about myself, and I did try for a while in college, but eventually my personality slipped out and I just couldn't keep the act up. So I kind of just, was myself. And people kind of have to accept that because you can't really change yourself for others that don't like you for who you are, because then you're just not meant to be friends. I would say that I'm an extrovert, but there's sometimes where I really do want to be introverted and just hang out with a bunch of friends, few friends, watch some TV in my dorm. And I've made really good friends and people that I'm going to be working with and hanging out with for years in college, so that's really good. So I'd say overall, my college experience was really good, and don't try to change yourself because you had a bad experience somewhere down the line. Just be yourself and enjoy what you do. If you like listening to any of my stories, please like, comment, and subscribe. In the future videos, I would like to read anonymous viewer stories and maybe give my opinions on them and talk about them a little. So yeah, that's all I have to say. See ya.